Hello and welcome to another edition of Health Connections, the television program that connects you with a healthy way of living. I'm your host, Hunter Reno, and this is our summer episode, where we'll discuss how to protect ourselves during the summer season. Also, we'll examine how good nutrition is beneficial to our mind, body, and soul. Summer is finally here, and the first thing on our minds is often to hit the beach or to lay around by the pool. But before we head out to the water, we need to be aware of the dangers of too much sun exposure. According to the U.S. Center for Disease Control, more than 200,000 people will suffer from melanoma, the most serious type of skin cancer. There are several factors that can cause the disease and some important tips to help decrease your risk. To expand on this topic, I'm joined by Dane Alonzo, Physician Assistant and Director of Advanced Practice Providers at the Miami Cancer Institute, and Jacqueline Churchill, Director of the Physician Assistant Program at Miami-Dade College Medical Campus. Welcome, ladies. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So one of the questions we had is, why is avoiding excess sun exposure so important?
Well, to prevent sunburns, premature aging, skin cancers, and also heat stroke and heat exhaustion.
And what are some of the other things that you would recommend to your patients to help them have a safer summer and when it comes to protecting themselves from the sun?
Lightweight protective clothing, shade, such as an umbrella, avoiding the sun between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. when the sun is directly overhead, if possible, and using a good sunscreen and using it correctly.
So as you speak to that, what are some of the mistakes that some people make when it comes to sunscreen?
When it comes to choosing a sunscreen, we want to make sure that our patients are looking for a sunscreen that is broad spectrum, that protects against both UVA and UVB ultraviolet light. UVB is the ultraviolet that gives us the sunburns. UVA also contributes to premature aging. We want to make sure that they are choosing a sunscreen that is appropriate for their activity level. So, for example, if you're going to perspire or be in the water, you want to choose a sunscreen that is water resistant, optimally one that is water resistant up to 80 minutes. That's the maximum. Choosing the right sun protection factor, 15 and above, to prevent skin cancer. The rule of thumb is that the SPF number is a multiplication factor. So if you, for example, SPF 15, you will be able to be in the sun 15 times longer than you ordinarily would. So choosing the right level of protection for your exposure and activity. And that's about it. And
when should we begin to worry in regards to our sun exposure or regards to collective burns throughout the summer or throughout our childhood?
If you are experiencing any blistering sunburns, any dizziness, fainting, confusion, muscle cramping, you should definitely seek medical attention as soon as possible.
Dane, what is a melanoma exactly?
So melanoma is a type of skin cancer that begins in the melanocyte, and that's cells that carry a pigment called melanin, okay? And melanomas can really develop anywhere in the skin. It can develop in the trunk, the back, the legs, sometimes even the face. And basically they spread very quickly. So you want to identify melanomas very quickly and take action.
How common is a melanoma as compared to other skin cancers?
It's actually not that common, but it is dangerous and they do spread widely. And so it's not as common as basal cell carcinoma or a squamous cell carcinoma, but they're definitely much more severe.
And what causes melanoma?
That is a good question, and it's not 100% defined in the medical literature, but clearly UV rays can definitely, they have a high exposure to UV rays definitely has been shown to cause melanoma.
What are the risk factors for melanoma?
So there are various risk factors for melanoma. Having very light and fair skin, just like me, maybe Jacqueline.
I'm a good candidate.
Having a family history of melanoma or a personal history of melanoma. So if you've had melanoma in the past, you have a greater chance of it happening in the future. And also, believe it or not, being a male. Male have a higher risk of melanoma than females. Yes, usually males over 50, and there's a greater risk of females under 50. So there's age ranges that also play a role.
And some other questions: can skin cancer be prevented?
It can be prevented, but sometimes you really have a genetic makeup and your DNA really plays a role. Mm-hmm. So that's where family history and things like that come into play. But for the most part, melanoma can be prevented. Definitely limiting your exposure to UV light. Mm-hmm. That is either tanning beds, also are included in this in the preventative way. Also, putting on a hat when you go outside, applying sunscreen, as Jacqueline mentioned, basically having a shirt that will cover, your whole body, wearing sunglasses. All of those things would prevent you from having such a high sun exposure to UV light.
And how is melanoma treated?
So melanoma, once you find a lesion on the skin, then surgery is the optimal treatment. You want to excise it as quickly as possible. It just depends on how you find it and at what stage you find it, and if it has spread to other parts of the body. But for the most part, surgery is the mainstay of treatment.
Thank you so much for your time, ladies. This has just been really informative. I appreciate it. Remember that prevention is always your first method of defense. To avoid sunburns or any sun-related issues, children and adults need to manage their time in the sun by sitting in the shade or avoiding sun exposure altogether. Also, as the lady said, wear long-sleeved cool shirts, pants, hats, and sunglasses. Apply enough sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher, reapplying every 2 hours or after swimming or sweating. And remember to stay hydrated this summer by drinking plenty of water. We're going to take our first break, but when we come back, we'll talk about another pesky problem that can affect our summer fun: mosquitoes. Stay tuned.
Be focused. Be a trendsetter. Be the solution. Be a hero. Be the answer. Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Welcome back. Summer in South Florida can be brutal. We're not talking about the summer heat. We're talking about one problem that can really bug us: mosquitoes. South Florida's weather tends to be a favorable breeding ground for mosquito reproduction. Adding to the normal mosquito problem, Miami-Dade and Broward counties have reported close to 1,300 cases of Zyka virus last year, including 250 of locally acquired cases. To address this situation and to provide tips that we can follow to avoid getting bitten by the infected mosquito that transmits the Zyka virus, I'm joined by Dr. Alvaro Mejia Echeverri, epidemiologist with the Florida Department of Health in Miami-Dade County. Welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Thank you. So what is Zyka and how is it transmitted to people?
So Zyka is a tropical viral disease and is transmitted to people by mosquito bites. But they found out lately that it's not transmitted exclusively by mosquito bites, but also by unprotected sex. And it can also be transmitted through blood transfusions. Blood transfusions in which the blood is not tested properly.
Interesting. What is more affected, or who is more affected by Zyka?
Well, anybody who can get exposed to mosquito bites can be affected by Zyka, but our main concern is pregnant women because of the fact that the children, the unborn products of pregnancy can suffer devastating effects because of the effects of the virus. congenital malformations, microcephaly, and the like.
Which we've seen in the news a lot. Why is it so important to avoid the Zika infection?
While Zika is not a devastating disease for any pregnant person or non-pregnant person, Zika can be devastating for the pregnant woman because it affects the progeny, or it can affect. We don't have to say, and we have to clarify, not every single pregnant woman who gets affected will have a baby with congenital malformations, but the possibility is there. Mm-hmm. And that's why we want to protect our children and our future generations so well, and we want to bring this message of prevention of Zika.
What can we do in our homes and with our families, to prevent mosquito bites that could lead to the Zika infection?
So this all goes and boils down to basically very basic prevention. And basic prevention is avoid mosquito bites. And how do you avoid mosquito bites? Well, the ideal scenario is one in which you don't have mosquitoes.
Right.
I mean, if you have mosquitoes, you have to deal with them. But if you don't have them, that's much better. And how do you not have mosquitoes at home? Is just by cleaning your backyards, getting rid of any disposables like plant pots, bird baths, cover your boats, do a good gardening in your backyard. So these mosquitoes can breed in as little as 1 or 2 cc's of water, and we're not talking about dirty water. We're talking about rainwater or clean water. So as long as you don't give the mosquito the opportunity to breed around you, then you're doing the best thing. Once you have the mosquitoes, basically you have to make sure that your air condition is good, because it's not a favorable environment for mosquitoes. Mm-hmm. Make sure that you cover your windows with window screens, that you empty everything that collects water at home, as to decrease the population of mosquitoes.
Is there any treatment or vaccine for Zika?
Unfortunately, there is not a vaccine yet, but there are several candidates, vaccine candidates in the works. The CDC and the vaccine developers believe that maybe in a year or maybe a little less, there will be a vaccine available to start being tested in humans. But they are actively working on vaccines. Now, there is not a specific treatment for the Zika virus. Viruses are known to not have very specific treatments, and more specifically, viruses like this type of virus, they're called flaviviruses. They're just, they have a symptomatic treatment, which is just alleviating the symptoms that they produce.
Should everyone in the community be tested for Zika?
Definitely not. We have to say that in non-pregnant persons, Zika can be considered almost like a benign disease. You can have symptoms between 1 and 2 weeks, but usually they don't leave sequela, they don't leave any devastating consequences as long as you're not pregnant. Or you're not immunosuppressed, or you're not in a very advanced stage or in a very young age. So those are the most vulnerable populations that, of course, not only Zika, but any other disease that comes to affect you on top of other conditions that you have may make the difference between being in a very bad shape or be okay. But for the most part, Zika is not a disease that causes great consequences to the health of the person, except for pregnant women.
Doctor, thank you so much for your time. To prevent mosquito bites, wear light-colored clothes and pants, use EPA-registered insect repellent, stay and sleep in screened or air-conditioned rooms, and remove standing water. For more information on how you can prepare for the mosquito season, you can contact Miami-Dade County Mosquito Control Program at 311 or visit miamidade.gov/mosquito. And for Zika-specific questions, you can contact the Florida Department of Health in Miami-Dade. Number is 305-470-5660. We're taking our second break. When we come back, we'll share some tips on how to lose weight, stay fit, and eat healthy. Be right back. Welcome back. Food and eating seem to always be on everyone's mind. But when it comes to good nutrition, how do we start? What are the best food choices? Good carbohydrates, bad carbohydrates? These are questions we always ask before beginning any new dietary plan. To help us understand more about the topic, I'm joined by Professor Richard Patton, nutrition professor at Miami-Dade College North Campus. Welcome.
Thank you, Hannah.
Nice to see you. So I've heard about good carbohydrates, as I said, and bad carbohydrates. What makes one good and bad?
There is no such thing as good or bad. I know that's a surprise for everyone. There's only one carbohydrate your body uses. It's a sugar called glucose. We've all heard of blood glucose, blood sugar. The difference in the foods is some foods contain more and/or / less carbohydrate, and that's really the only difference. I'm not saying that I'm encouraging gummy bears, but they come from sugar. Sugar comes from sugar cane's a plant. Anything in the plant kingdom, oh my God, it's a carbohydrate. It's just the amount at one time. Where do you get better carbohydrates, i.e. foods with less? From real food. Oh, I know this is shocking. I'm a nutritionist recommending food. But that's the secret.
So now let's look at it when it comes to fats.
Oh, no. And
okay,
fats,
so good and bad fats.
Yes. Now, fats can be good or bad. Some fats are bad because they're saturated, they lead to heart disease. And some are good, they're unsaturated and don't lead to disease processes. But they're all equally as fattening. The problem with fats in your diet is, where they do have some benefit providing you energy, they have a disbenefit. They provide a lot of energy. Fats are fattening, and they don't mix with body water. Your body is mostly water. If you add fat, you would never do this, Hunter. But if you stopped after your health show for a Baconator.
That's true.
I'm just picturing this, and there is a humor factor involved. If that Baconator fat were to go directly into your blood, into your body, you would die. Fat and water don't mix. So fat has to get from your plate or styrofoam container to your body reserves of fat. That's the problem, because in the transportation of getting it into storage, it can create a problem. And then once it gets into storage, here's the worst news. If it's not used, it stays there.
Okay, hang on one second, because you've got such great tips. So organic foods seem to be a popular topic these days. What are these, and are they really better for us?
No. Organic, all food is organic. If it's not, it's a rock. Organic food means how it was fertilized, and where it may be better because there's care taken to grow it and get it picked and transported. The reality of it is the actual fertilizer that is now making it organic has some of its own problem. Organic fertilizers come from the digestive tract of other animals. Think about it.
Okay.
Yeah. You kind of got that.
I got that. Now, what about nutritional supplements? Are they helpful?
For some people who are either eating very poorly or those that are extremely active and may need more, they could have some benefit. The problem with nutritional supplements, as we know it, they're being used more in America than any other population, but by the wrong people. They're used by people who try to eat healthy.
Right.
The ones who need them, i.e. coming from Wendy's drive-thru with a Baconator, aren't using them.
And what about, what's the current trend these days?
We've had lots of
nutrition?
trending come through, and it's great to see the trend that now is becoming popular is a real food trend.
Yeah.
It is people growing their own herbs in small containers around their house, or having small gardens around their house, or preparing foods at home. I love it. I'm not sure everybody can afford it, but one of the trends is to have meals sent to your home with the ingredients, i.e. the real foods, all already there and proportioned. Oh my God, humans eating real food, what a concept. I know.
You have shared so many incredible tips. We're really grateful for your time, your energy, and all this incredible information.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Remember to always check with your doctor or healthcare provider before beginning any new dietary plan. We're taking our last break, and when we come back, we'll travel to the Wolfson campus, where we'll meet up with Executive Chef Victor Santos of Tuyo Restaurant. He will be preparing a delicious recipe for us with summer and sea in mind. Stay with us to find out more.
Be focused. Be a trendsetter. Be the solution. Be a hero. Be the answer. Be the best. Be you. Be MDC.
Welcome back. Now it's time to learn how to prepare a nutritious meal. I have the privilege to be with Executive Chef Victor Santos of Tuyo Restaurant here at Miami-Dade College's Wolfson campus. Chef, thank you so much for your time. I look forward to preparing an incredible meal with you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It's going to be a pleasure. And, you know, it's summertime here. We just started. I like to go light. You know, light meals, a light lunch, a light dinner. Don't want to be stuffed. It's hot out there. Don't want to be sweating too much, right?
Absolutely.
So I decided to showcase one of our lunch ingredients, or lunch items, a Cobb salad. And maybe you think, oh, a Cobb salad. I read the calorie count. It's very high. Well, this one is a little bit different. We use a light dressing, so it's not a creamy-based dressing. It's a champagne and honey vinaigrette.
Delicious.
And we skip a couple of things, and we reduce the amount of the fatty ingredients, like the bacon, like the blue cheese. But we are definitely showcasing the good quality that we are using here. So we use Gulf shrimp. We use Point Reyes blue cheese. We use Applewood smoked bacon.
Delicious.
And obviously, the produce, they will speak by itself. But those are things that you want to consider when planning a light meal and a healthy meal. You know, if you're using fats, use good fat like avocado, and try to use as much vegetables as you can. So those are ideas to really make up a really healthy meal, a healthy plate for us, and it's not that hard, you know. And I'm going to show you. You can do everything in less than 5 minutes.
Let's see.
All right.
All right.
All right. So first, I'm going to just put my gloves on. And for this salad, we are going to use a mixture of 3 different lettuces. So I have Bibb lettuce, or some people also call Boston lettuce, butter lettuce. And that's going to basically be the cup of my plate. So everything, the whole salad is going to be right on it. And I'm going to use about 3 leaves of butter lettuce, Bibb lettuce, just to use basically as a cup. It serves as a pretty garnish, I should say. And here I have a mixture of watercress.
Oh, I love that combination.
And arugula. So we got about a cup, half a cup of arugula, half a cup of watercress. And we're just gonna lightly dress with our champagne and honey vinaigrette. And this is straightforward. Champagne vinegar, canola oil, honey, and 1 shallot blended together.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna use about 1.5 tablespoons of the vinaigrette and mix it quite well. And we're gonna basically arrange a bed onto the plates.
So, Chef, we've now got a beautiful bed of lettuce.
Right.
So now where are we going?
Now we start doing the vegetables. I don't have any specific pattern, but we're gonna start with diced tomatoes, And these are Roma tomatoes that have been taken the seeds out and then just diced. And I'm gonna use about 2 tablespoons of it, just like so, making a kind of a line. You know, that's the traditional plating on a Cobb salad.
Exactly.
You have a line of vegetables.
Like the parallels.
Exactly, and this is what I'm doing here.
One of the things I think you have spoken about, which I really appreciate, is the concept of portion. So you can have this really luxurious meal, even if it's light or fresh, but it's in smaller portions, and that way it's more easily digested. You can be more efficient during your day, and overall you're healthier. I've had an opportunity to come to your cafe when I've been in school across the street, and I haven't been up to your restaurant. Tell me a little more about the meals that you're preparing up there.
So we're open for lunch and dinner. At lunch, it's actually a class with only students. I oversee that. We keep lunch a little bit simpler. People like to be quite kind of quick for lunch. It's a concise menu of about 10 or 12 items. For dinner, it's more of a sit-down kind of experience where, you know, we tend a little bit to take care of the clients a little bit more, of our customers a little bit more, providing a full experience, a full meal with, you know, complimentary appetizers. You know, we also have tasting menus that can be anywhere from 5 to 8 items. We have a wine selection that is second to none. So
now we have our green beans.
Green beans that have been blanched in salted boiling water for about 45 seconds. So they get they're not raw, but they still have a good bite
Crunch.
to it, a good crunch to it.
This is so beautiful. The colors, it is so appealing. I'm getting hungry already.
Oh, we're gonna try. Now on the bacon, I'm gonna do about a half a tablespoon. I want to have the taste, but I don't want to have that many calories on it. Basically, a half tablespoon of the blue cheese. You want to feel the taste. You want to have the taste of that, but you don't want it to overpower. Now for the avocado, I'm gonna slice about a quarter of an avocado right onto the salad. And then for the final ingredient, we have about 5 Gulf shrimp that, like I told you, they have been lightly seasoned, salt, pepper, a little bit of olive oil, and I put it on the grill. I wanted to really highlight the ingredients. Don't want to mask them. Don't want to use a whole lot of spices or anything like that, because it's probably going to take away.
Yeah.
Then you just neatly arrange. Again, something light for lunch, something light for dinner. Again, very nutritional.
So again, if you want to make your own Cobb salads, you can really utilize whatever ingredients you have in your kitchen.
Of course.
Be creative. Watch your portions, especially the richer, higher fat portions. And this is just magnificent. When do we get to try it?
Right now.
Okay, fantastic. Tuyo Restaurant is located atop the Miami Culinary Institute building at Wilson Campus in downtown Miami. To make a reservation, please call 305-237-3200 or visit tuyomiami.com. Chef, thank you so much. This was just incredible.
Thank you.
I feel like I learned so much. I can't wait to try the dish.
I hope you like
Do you have a fork?
Of course I do. I hope you like it, and please come join us.
I'm going to love it. My name is Hunter Reno, and it was a pleasure sharing this opportunity with you on Miami-Dade College's Health Connections. Have a healthy day.